Welcome, and welcome back, people. Here's your follow-up to the follow-up. Context: I had a stream talking about Johnny Tuccello's and Kaiser Neko's video on Amber from Invincible, which I made into a video afterwards. And as soon as it came up, I was surprised to see that Neko responded. Kaiser, didn't you add him in the video title? Alright, fuck this. Look, I just didn't expect that to happen so quickly, guys. What can you do? Anyway, after I released the video, me and Neko had a little bit of a chat in DMs. With permission, of course, I wanted to share with y'all the results of our discussion. Agreements, disagreements, concessions, etc. And honestly, that's more than I've ever asked for with any of the response videos I've made on this channel, and I'm pleased to say that we had a pretty damn good talk. Let's get right down to it. There were three major things we discussed that were relevant to my response video. First was my comments about vague posting. After talking it over, we both ended up agreeing that Johnny could have done a better job showcasing proof that other creators have made particular takes that they disagree with, especially when most of the videos he mentions via thumbnails have different positions upon further inspection. From what he told me, it seems that the bulk of the people who held these wacko positions they were arguing against were from Twitter, which, fair. But I do think it would have been best to show proof that they happened at all to strengthen their main points, not to mention respecting those they disagree with by showing the proper context. Speaking of respect though, I will also admit that I was harsh in my coverage. My main sentiments behind the video remain the same, of course, but it probably would have been better to cut the snark a tad, especially since, again, I don't think Neko or Johnny made the video in bad faith. Outside looking in, I can see how it came off as insulting and disrespectful, even with all my caveats. Wasn't my intention, but it is what it is. I was trying to convey that their coverage of the topic came out differently than what they may have intended, likely due to how heated the discussion surrounding Amber has been, and how long they were itching to throw their hat in the ring. All of these factors lead to a flaw in the delivery of their ideas, in my humble opinion. If this conversation was any indication, I'm guilty of the same thing, and if nothing else, that's on me, I apologize. Now for the interesting part. From talking with Neko, I have a much better understanding of his intentions in this segment of Johnny's video. You know, the part where I said the big contradiction was? The one with the long man moment? Yeah, that one. His basic argument was that Mark, like any superhero, has the right and is probably morally obligated to keep their identity a secret. However, the big issue with Mark wasn't that he hid his secret from Amber, but that he lied about being able to make time for her. Honestly, that's pretty sensible. Because of the fact that the job as a superhero takes priority, this leaves Amber understandably pissed off at Mark for going off without letting her know what the fuck is going on. If Mark had room in his schedule for being Amber's boyfriend and being on more dates, then his being invincible would be a non-factor. But when you add his life as a student in the mix, this makes it nigh impossible for him to make it work. So, from a practical perspective, not to mention in hindsight, around the time after he nearly died, Mark should have realized he couldn't make more time for Amber and broke up with her.
Can we do that again? Start over? You're right. Yeah, I don't deserve to start over.
Hey, handsome Mark Grayson. I'm glad you've still got that pretty face of yours.
Me too. So, wanna hang out sometime?
Sure.
Holy shit, I forgot that scene actually happened. What episode was this? Episode 6. Around the time frame where Amber presumably found out that Mark was a superhero. fucking hate that twist. Anyway, the point is, his secret identity wasn't the problem. It's that he couldn't manage his time in a way that would allow him to do right by his commitments in his relationship with Amber. If he wasn't trying to juggle so many things at once, then neither side would have been in an unsatisfying position. That, in brass tacks, was what Neko was intending to convey here. But of course, it's also understandable why Mark didn't do that. Both parties clearly cared for one another emotionally, if you couldn't tell. Number 2, Mark overestimated how time-consuming the superhero life actually is. And thirdly, his family is founded on the synergy of this lifestyle. Plus, I'm like 99% sure Mark was mainless before now, so yeah. With all that shit in mind, it's no wonder he thought it could work. Mans thought he was Clark Kent when he was really Peter Parker. Being Invincible, Amber's boyfriend, and a student all at once was annihilating his sense of time, which again, me and Neko agree on. I think the disconnect initially was not only due to the structure of Neko's script, but also because his section of the video was very detailed, and he was trying to explain his position as thoroughly as possible. Now I know what y'all might be thinking, why is that a problem? After all, when making a video designed to set the record straight on a controversial topic, it's usually good to make your argument thorough, especially for the people in the back. The issue I had in this case was that the delivery of the message was much more roundabout than ideal. More streamlined delivery could have done this a lot of favors, because putting things more simply now, I absolutely agree with him. But what also doesn't help is the lack of acknowledgement of episode 7's twists and how it retroactively gives Amber's prior characterization and interactions the fucking back alley treatment. In that respect, we both agree that the effects of the twists were glossed over a bit too much in the video. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to put that to the side in order to make more room for explaining the dynamics of the relationship, which is, again, the main point of Neko's section. It's kinda hard to, separate these two aspects from the storyline, so you kinda have to make that much clearer, again, for the people in the back. It's me, I'm the guy in the back. But as it stands, Neko's actual position isn't contradictory. I just think the presentation could have been much more refined. Of course, that's from my perception of the video, and anyone else is free to take a look at it to see if I'm off the mark here. Pun absolutely intended, and I am not apologizing. So yeah, good talk. Also, he told me that some people in my comments were spamming the hashtag Mark did nothing wrong. I checked around and I only found like one dude that basically said that. Perhaps he was referring to one of the many replies to his comments in my comment section. Seriously, call Neko what you want, guys, but the dude is no pushover. So, with all that in mind, I'll just give a general statement here. Yeah, that's wrong. Like, seriously, I said it, Emperor Zero said it, Derek FDB said it. Yeah, that's bullshit. It makes sense that Mark did wrong in the relationship here, as I spent like 5 minutes explaining before. If it hadn't been for episode 7's twist making Amber drastically worse, I would have put his ass in the doghouse too. So yeah, if you legit think that Mark didn't do anything wrong as a boyfriend, well, you might want to try watching season 1 with your eyes open this time. But jokes aside, for real though, share your thoughts in the comments below. Did I miss anything? No?
Class dismissed.
Thanks as always, people. Another day, another fun video. And we got more on the way. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what you see, want to share your thoughts, and want to see more. And if you're feeling real generous, support me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, y'all can jump onto my Discord server.
With blackjack and hookers!
I know, genius name, came up with it myself. And you can get shoutouts at the end of each new video, if you're into that sort of thing. You want to see some behind the scenes stuff too? Feel free to throw in some more. Stay tuned.